Hello, guys. Welcome back to the King of Hearts podcast hosted by me, Chiara King. And today I just found out it's the 30th episode. And for our 30th episode, we have a very special guest today, Dominic.
Hello.
Is it Dom or Dominic? Does everyone call you Dom?
An age-old dilemma for me. Dominic if we're in a mature setting, but we're friends, so you can call me Dom.
So Dom is here. We're all friends here. Basically, Dom's a content creator and also now does tarot, which I just saw on my For You page, which I was very intrigued about. I was like, oh my God, he's doing tarot. That's crazy.
My sim is crazy. I have content creator, performer, or actor, and then now tarot reader.
Acting?
Yeah, first gig came out this year on Netflix. Yeah.
And what? What was
Geek
it?
Girl. Oh, gasp from producer.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh
it was a real fun gig, real fun. We shot it this time last year during the heat wave. Hell and horror, but it was lovely.
Oh my God, that's insane. I need to watch that. Go watch it.
Stream Geek Girl, guys.
Geek Girl on Netflix.
And that is your ad sponsor of the day.
Yeah, literally.
If you love me, let me fly away. Maybe I'll come back to you. Maybe I won't.
But yeah, I wanted to get you on because I wanted to rack your head around dating, love, heartbreak. Obviously, you know, I create a lot of content around love, dating, heartbreak, relationships. You told me earlier, but you have been in a situationship.
For lack of a better term, yeah. We've been through it.
You've been through it. I've personally never been through a situationship, but I can only feel how you feel. You know, I can only empathize.
Yeah.
How was it? How long was it?
Oof. I mean, it was
What is a situationship like?
I need to hold myself
Confusing?
accountable.
Okay.
Yeah. So I made a documentary on my YouTube channel following the heartbreak of After 5 Months, which was really well received. One of the best pieces of media I've ever made in my entire life. I love it.
Did you cry?
Oh, I cried like crazy, and it's all in the video. I'm the most vulnerable state on social media I've ever been in the 5 years that I've professionally been on here. And then I had to get back in contact to be like, hey, just to let you know I'm posting this video. And then we got chatting and then met. And then from then we sort of started again.
Wait, so how long has this situation been happening?
Oof, couple of years, babe. Couple of years.
Stop.
Yeah. But it was this time
Couple
round.
of years.
Yeah. It's difficult. It's one of those ones where it just like sort of fades out and fades back in again, fades out, fades back in again.
Kind of like one day.
Oh God, yeah. Oh wow, we're going there.
Yeah.
Trauma. No,
Yeah.
it was certainly interesting time of my life, but I'm very grateful it's happened. I want to preface it. I'm so grateful I went through that experience because I've come out of it a much stronger, better person. I know what I want. We can get into this, I'm sure.
Yeah, but pain makes you grow. You know, like when I went through my heartbreak, that was like from my first love back in 2021. It was like the time actually I grew the most in social media because I was going through so much pain and I was like kind of documenting it. And then people got bored after the second relationship and then the third relationship. And I was like, yeah, I'm a 25-year-old girl. Like I'm going to go through relationships. You know, I'm not just going to be in one relationship. But I know you see online like people just being in one relationship or never being in a relationship. I'm the kind of person who will document, but it was really hard. Pain sucks, but pain makes you grow and it makes you learn things. And I just think now all the shit that happens in my life with guys, because a lot of shit has happened to me with guys, like I'm not very lucky with relationships, at least not until this point. I hope now that I'm focusing on myself and like I'm single properly and I'm just like doing my own thing, that I can heal the wounds that have been created and maybe deal with past trauma and whatever, so that my next relationship is not as traumatic.
100%. And I believe that, you know, you go through people and they are lessons. So you eventually grow into a better state of mind. And if you keep getting the same sort of person, it's because you've not learnt the lesson yet.
Oh my God. I remember my first love. He's an Aquarius. Okay.
Jump scare warning,
French.
please. Oh, lovely.
Yeah. The guy I met immediately after him, French, Aquarius.
Oh, okay.
The guy I met after him, he was Venezuelan, Aquarius. And then another guy, Aquarius.
It's like gunshots each time you
And
say
it's
Aquarius.
like, basically I haven't learned my lessons. And then I met a Taurus, but I still hadn't learned my lessons because he was French. So like,
Because he was French, guys.
because he was
Because he
French.
was French.
He was French, so that was also trauma. So I still hadn't learned. So for 2 years, that freaking lesson was following me until I learned it. And then with my current ex now, he's a Pisces, Turkish, so completely different. So I think I finally healed that wound with my first love. But then this new one opened more wounds. So it's like, just keep
Yeah, I
learning.
feel like people come and go, but all of them have a lesson attached to them. It's about how you respond to things. It's about how you go through things.
I'm done with the lessons, babe.
Yeah, I know. The universe is a cruel
It's
mistress.
just like throwing me more lessons. And like, I don't want any more. I've been through so much suffering this year.
I mean, maybe now it's the perfect time for you to be single, though, and actually spend time without the external validation and the need for a relationship and stuff like that.
That's what I've been doing for the past 4 years.
And how do you feel?
Well, at first it was weird because I was like, okay, when's the next guy coming? Like, when's the next
That's
love
often the
of
way,
my
yeah.
life coming?
Yeah.
You know, I want him to come. He's gonna come on his horse, Prince Charming is gonna come and he's gonna rescue me from all my turmoil. Then that didn't happen, and I was like, am I supposed to be waiting around for a guy to like come and sweep me off my feet, or am I now just gonna sit in solitude and live my life with or without a guy? But I found that so hard because we all have a void that we want to fill. We all have something that we want to like, you know, we want the attention. Like when I go out, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, I'm such a whore for attention. Like I am a sucker for it.
Have you got
like,
a Leo placement in your star chart somewhere?
No.
You must do. You must be. You're a closeted Leo, babe. You can't be a Capricorn and be a whore for attention.
I love attention. But I'm like a rising Cancer and a moon is Capricorn. But I've got a lot of Aquarius in me as well, apparently, in my birth
That's why you
chart.
keep fucking attracting them.
Yeah.
Weird. You must have Leo somewhere. I don't understand how you're a Capricorn sun and moon. Are you okay? Do you want a hug?
I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I'm my worst critic.
We'll stop that.
Yeah.
Hopefully this podcast can hold yourself, like you can look back at it and be, I'm holding myself accountable. That's
Yeah.
what I did with the heartbreak video. And I didn't. I posted it. I was like, I'm in such turmoil. I've learned so much from this thing and we can definitely be friends in the future. 2 months later, back to square one.
Fuck. So you'd been seeing each other for like what, a year or two? Then you
No,
broke,
it was so short-lived. It was like 5 months.
and
We were
then
together
you
for like 5
ended.
months. Ended.
And then you made the heartbreak video. Then you spoke, and then back to square one, back to situationship. So it's always
Kind
a
of.
situationship.
It was never officially a relationship. I don't like airing my dirty laundry online, but you know what? Fuck it. Went on the King of Hearts podcast. I feel like there was the first time around we were actively dating. We met on a dating app and we were like, okay, let's just go for a date.
Okay.
And then it was never turned out to be into a relationship, which in turn fucked with my head a little bit. It was just a bit like, well, what do you want then? What is this? And I constantly found myself going back into these chats.
Like, why
with him,
can't
like,
you
What is
commit?
this? What is this? Why can't you? For lack of a better word, like, why can't you commit? And, you know, he had his own stuff going on and I never wanted to pressure him. And also, I think it was because he was the first person that I found, or rather found myself in that vulnerable, loving energy with. I couldn't let go of it very easily. So I was just like, I will do anything and I will settle for anything because you've shown me a glimpse of being loved back and I really like that. So I will lower my self-worth and stick with you.
Yeah, that's
not
what
that
I
he
did.
knew that, not that, you know, he was actively wanting me to do that, but it was
when you fall in
partly
love, that's
me.
just what happens.
See, when you
There's
say
no
fall in
logic.
love though, I want to combat that. Upon reflection, I don't want to sound like a twat when I say this, but I feel like I don't think I've been in love with someone yet. Wow. And I know that might sound
So
like
you
I'm
think
doing
you were
rejection
just-
therapy and all this sort of stuff.
I think
but
you were anxiously attached to him.
actually attached, but in love with the idea of him and what he could provide for me. That's one thing I thought upon reflection recently. I've been
What could he
journeying a
have
lot.
provided for you?
Well, just the idea of him in a romantic sense. Like, he is a entity in my life that is romantically invested in me. Obviously, it's not as much as I'd liked, but I was just in love with the idea of him, you know? And there were traits of him that I never got on board with. So why should I be in love with that character or person?
Yeah, I mean,
you
there
know?
were a lot of traits in my ex, you know, my first love that I absolutely hated. Like, he did graffiti and like he loved to go running from the police.
Oh my
And
God, what?
yeah. And like, you know, and it was so opposite to who I was. But there I am, just like was so in love with him. And like, you can't choose.
It's so hard. It's so hard. And obviously to get out is just one of the worst things ever because it's like I developed an addiction to this person. It's quite literally
It
an
is an
addiction to the
addiction.
dopamine hits and everything like that.
Was
So
he
letting
bad
go.
at communicating?
He was mixed. He would be, you know, like quite not a slow replier, but there'd be days where he would have, you know, I would have gone psycho and like not psycho, but just anxiously attached. Like he'd view my story and it wouldn't got a response, and I'd be like, "What? Like reply to me? You're on your phone."
Yeah.
You know.
That
And
pisses me off so much.
Like if your screen time's over 10 hours and I haven't got a reply, you need to reply to me.
And
That's just basic communication for me. But then I think because the first time I went through the heartbreak was so vicious, I almost healed from my anxious attachment style, developed a secure attachment style because I was like.
So then why did you go back?
Well, I went back because I feel like there was unfinished business. I think because the main thing I was grieving in the heartbreak was the what ifs. It was like, we've not gone on a dog walk yet. I've not met his family yet. There's so many things I would have done with him but didn't. The second time around, did everything. And by the end of it, there were things that happened the second time around that made me just realize this isn't for me. And
you cut it off.
Job done, cut it off. I was just like, listen, I need some space for a few months. We can be friends in the future, but for now, I need my own energy. So,
wow.
Au revoir.
That's really mature.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Wow. I mean, like, I personally am not friends with any of my exes. Like, they all hate me.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
I'm like,
I've not been through that many
I wonder why.
relationships.
Have a podcast about chatting shit about them. No, I'm joking.
No, I think for me, like, I like to be, I do say this as a joke, you're like peace and love, but you're a prick. But
yeah.
I do try and look at things from peace and love. At first, I'm angry. I have a Leo moon and a Sag rising. I'm a fiery person. If my trust is betrayed or if I'm hurt, you're going to know about it. And I'm going to need time to cool off.
And you're a Scorpio, babe.
And I'm a Scorpio. So I'm a little bit of a freak.
Yeah, my mum is
but
Scorpio.
I do, you know, eventually look at things with peace and love. And I'm very grateful for the lessons that I learned from him that he didn't teach me himself, but I learned from being romantically involved with him on some capacity. And I look at him with love now. I'm like, I have a lot of love for you.
Wow.
And a lot of respect for you. And you've got your own shit going on. So you go off and do your own thing.
Yeah.
I'm not good for you at the moment. You're not good for me at the moment. So let's just recalibrate in the future if we should. You know, I could in a few months have this realization and be like, do you know what? I never want to see you again.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could be like, let's be friends, you know, because I know now the second time going around that it's not ever going to be a relationship for me.
Wow.
Or one that I can be happy in. My needs have never been met. And I constantly try to forcibly change myself.
No, you can't change yourself for anyone.
You're like trying to, a therapist used the terminology of like trying to fit yourself into a puzzle piece you don't fit in. And that's just, you'll be in pain the whole time.
And you can't force a door that doesn't want to open either.
That part.
Like, yeah, I think that's so true. I've been in relationships where, for example, my past relationship, I tried to be this really feminine, very like submissive woman in his life because he was very dominant and masculine. My nature, I thought I was a feminine, very, you know, feminine woman, but I actually have a lot of masculine traits in me. Like I am a leader, like I have my own company. I work day in, day out. Like I'm very hardworking. That's not a very feminine, submissive, like laid back trait. It's a go-getter. It's a very like doing kind of trait to have. And so in that sense, I kind of like pulled myself back from who I was in that relationship to fit his lifestyle, which I shouldn't have done. I should have just been myself. And I think that's another thing with dating is like when you meet someone you don't even know, and you change yourself to someone that you're not for someone that you don't even know. And like dating nowadays is just like, I don't know if are you dating right now? Have you been on any dates?
I haven't since, but I have been asked by a few lovely people, and it's like, do I or do I? Like, I kind of want some time for me. I've been so invested in boys for the past few years. I just want to take a step back and actually like enjoy. I'm
like
21 and I don't want to waste my whole life waiting for a fucking reply.
Young.
Thank you. Carry on.
Literally.
I don't want to keep wasting life like from validation from external forces when I can give myself that, and I need to teach myself to give myself that, you know. And I'd rather learn that now than be stuck in this endless cycle of being treated less than for years on end. Like I go back to home and like I just see, you know, like Facebook posts from people from my old school that went at home before I moved to London, you know, in their sort of the same relationships with them for years, not really happy, like just, I don't know, no offense to them. They just settle.
I'm never going to settle.
And I'm not going to settle.
I will never settle.
I'm glad we can agree on that.
Like genuinely will never settle. Like imagine walking down the aisle and being like, fuck, I wish that was my ex.
Do you know, right.
Like I'd
rip up the dress, I'd vomit, I'd do something to get out of
like,
that.
but people do that. People marry out of like Because like, okay, well, I'm nearly 30 now. Like I need to settle and like I need to find.
That's societal standards being pressured onto you.
Yeah.
But like you're moving too quickly. Why are people 21 and pregnant? Why are people 21 and married? Why have you got a mortgage? What? Whoa. Like last week we were doing maths GCSE. Now you're pregnant.
Yes.
No shade.
And I'm 25 and to be fair, my friends aren't like that, but like, because like all my friends grew up in London, so I think it's a bit of a different dynamic.
There's a different culture here. Way different culture here. Different hustle culture, different business culture,
like,
everything.
My dad always told me like, don't get married until you're at least 30.
Because then you know what you want. And you have time to meet the one. You know,
you get to know the one as well.
We're just going to take a pause there and we'll be back after this break.
To be honest, I am a believer in like immediate chemistry. That I believe
100%.
in. I don't quite understand the term of like love grows. I'm not sure about that.
How do you mean?
Because I've had a relationship in the past where, for example, I wasn't like immediately like obsessed with them in the beginning, and I was like, okay, maybe like love will grow. Maybe one day I'll grow to love that person, but it never came because I was like, maybe it will just come. But sometimes when it's either there or it's not there, and I feel like I forced that too much with someone that I just knew I was never gonna fall in love with.
Yeah, of course. I see that vision. I do. I think I kind of agree somewhat.
Like when you met your situationship, you were probably instantly like, yeah, we connect.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It was the first ever like date I'd ever been on. So I was just like, wow, like he said I look really beautiful in this photo. So I attached very easily.
Okay.
So it's like,
maybe you know, obviously once you've done your healing work, this is something I also need to do. And I think, Rick, and this is something you also need to do. If you're single right now and you're healing from a heartbreak or healing from a situationship, or, you know, your heart is broken, you don't know what to do. Obviously take the time for yourself. But what I actually recommend we do is once we go back into the dating scene, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
So
Why
true.
do we latch on to the first? I was talking to a friend of mine earlier and she was like, yeah, so like I've only been on like 2 dates on like a dating app, and both of those guys that I went on a date with, I ended up in a thing with. And I was like, why?
Like,
why? I did the same
more.
though.
Yeah,
I did the same. Like I would meet a guy, I think I met 2 guys on dating apps, one from Hinge, one from Raya. Both of them I ended up seeing for a bit, you know? Why can't we just like go on several dates and be a little bit of a player?
A bit fluid. Yeah, why not?
And just be like, I'm going to date as many people as I want. Don't have to kiss them. Just go out for dinner, but get to know several guys to break that pattern of latching onto the first thing that you see and being like, oh, he likes me back. Or like, oh my God, okay, I'll definitely have to see him again because like he likes me. But it's like a lot of guys are going to like you. A lot of guys.
But
and
do
like,
you like them?
Exactly.
Do you match energy? But also, I'm a big believer of friendship first. I think the strongest connections that you have are built off of a friendship. Not necessarily like we have to be friends for at least 6 months. Now we can apply to be together. Like it's not like a passport waiting thing. It's just
the thing is, for me, I get attracted.
The same thing with me, but like you can be attracted to your friends and let it grow. Like for me, I think, well, that's the only connection that I've had is basically a glorified friendship. It's a friendship, but we kiss and whatever. That was it. And we'd say I love you to each other, all this sort of stuff. It's like, well, hold on. That's more of a relationship, but we both just mutually agreed of it to be friends because it was less confusing.
That's more confusing.
Isn't it?
Is that not
How do you think I've been feeling the past few years?
Yeah, like surely if you're kissing and doing bits and also friends, that's a relationship.
So that was
and
basically
especially if you're like
through.
monogamous, if you're not seeing other people.
See, well, that's where things got confusing because I think with me, I've learned loads of things from this situationship. I learned that I have a hard time. Actually, no, bullshit. I do trust people. I just have some ground level trust issues. And I think it sprouted from not feeling wanted because if he wanted to be in a relationship with me, he would have said, he would have been like, I want to fight for a relationship with you. I really love being with you.
He wanted to have his cake and eat it.
Exactly. All my friends have said that exact verbatim. But because there was this lingering feeling of not feeling wanted. And it's like, oh, like you say you love me, you say you want to do this, but you don't want to be with me like actually.
100%.
And that makes me not really trust you. And it was growing and growing and growing until, of course, things actually happened, which proved my gut feeling of like, oh, he's doing something like fishy. It was a little bit like, oh, okay, that sucked.
And he did something.
There was a few instances, but most were misproved. I just like, I don't want to shit on him because obviously this is like, you know, people do mess up. But
yeah, they do. We all do.
Like there was one instance, I laugh at it now because it's like, what the fuck? We're on a plane. on a plane, like, so we're stuck next to each other. And then obviously I find out that, you know, there was still some contact being made between him and his ex, who was selling to me as like an evil guy, like nasty and da-da-da-da-da. I was just like, so you were still talking to him the whole time that we were like genuinely together, genuinely exclusive. And it was just a bit of an eye-opener. Like, what the fuck? He was entertaining. People can be friends with their exes. Not you though. No, I'm joking. But people can be friends with their exes. But when you're saying to me he's da-da-da-da-da, things I will not say. But why on earth are you still entertaining that while you're seeing me going on dates with me? It just makes me not. So the trust was completely severed.
And I think if there's no trust in a relationship,
there's no relationship.
It's just basically built on thin air. And all you've got really is just the feelings between you guys. But you can't have a relationship without a solid foundation of trust. I think trust is everything. Trust and loyalty. And loyalty doesn't have to be like, you know, you could be in an open relationship and still be loyal to each other, but being honest with each other is another thing. Communication. Yeah. Listen, I don't know if I can be, and I don't know if you listening to this right now believe in monogamy or polyamory. Like, obviously 5% of the animal kingdom is monogamous. 5%.
Out of 100?
Yes. Only 5%.
We wouldn't be any more than 100.
And we're basically monkeys. So if you think about it that way, society has put us in this box of like, we have to be monogamous, right?
Yeah.
Because back in the day, marriage came from uniting wealth. That's the whole reason.
For real?
Yeah. It was a religious thing with quotation marks to basically bring the rich families together so that they can share the wealth between each other. Yeah. Did you not know that was why marriage was there?
Holy shit.
Yeah. So marriage is actually a really, really old construct.
You learn something new every day.
And that's why marriage nowadays fails most of the time, because we all have our own money. No one is relying on big families coming together. Like, it's not as traditional as it used to be. And also we have social media where the grass is always greener on the other side, and there's temptation everywhere, and everyone's good looking and blah, blah, blah. And like, marriage just breaks most of the time nowadays. Like, I think 60% of the time.
Damn, you got all the statistics, babe.
Oh, I know.
You're a walking encyclopedia of just
like of course. And I want to be married. I do want to get married, but I don't want to choose the wrong person.
You won't though. You won't.
I think when you know, you'll know.
Believer, exactly that. I'm such a strong believer in that the universe, because I'm very spiritual in the fact that I believe in the universe. I believe that the universe has
a plan.
A plan, and like, we are never going to be with the wrong person, because me thinking I'm going to spend my whole life with this person, it never, like, it ended because it was meant to end. These things happen to us, and they may be brutal, and you may feel like utter shit, and you may think my whole world's ending. I'm never going to find someone like them. Good. You'll find someone better.
Yeah.
You know, everything happens for a reason. If
everything.
It's shit, it will alter your life in some way. Every single person on this planet has a plan for them. And you will never, ever, like, that's the thing that brings me such safety at night, is when I'm like thinking, oh, miss him. Like, wish he was here. Wasn't meant to be.
No.
Crack on with it. You're going to meet someone soon. Or
and if you hold on to that as well, if you hold on to that hope, you're still living in the past. And you don't want to live in the past.
Exactly.
You want to live in the moment. And I think that was what helped me get through my relationship with my ex. Is like, I was living this fantasy of the past that didn't exist anymore. And if we were to meet again today, it would not be the same as it was in 2020.
Yeah.
I would want different things. He would want different things. We're
so true.
You know, it's like, I feel like we sometimes live too much in that idealization, but also the past of what it used to be like. And that used to be is not ever going to exist again.
Well, building on that, actually, I was reading a book and it told me that you should not be living life to live in a relationship. I feel like society has very much deemed this idea.
If you're single, you're a problem.
If you're single, you're a bit weird.
You're a weirdo.
Get laid.
Why aren't you married yet?
Exactly, that part. And it's just like, well, actually, I feel like, I think I blame the movies that I watched growing up, because every single trope was like, the boy gets with the girl and they're very happily ever after. Yeah. That's when you're happiest. The ideology I want to live by is my life is already good. A relationship is merely a good addition. It's a bonus. It's like a bonus fucking out. I don't know. Like, think of it as this, right? This is such a funny example.
Tell me, Dom.
Club Penguin. Did you used to play it?
Love Club Penguin.
Right. So you have a very, very fun little
My name
outfit.
was Super Farter 13.
Was it actually?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Incoming the fetishes in the comments.
I don't.
Mine was Domalicious too. We should have met. We should have done a party in that igloo. Come on. Anyways, so you're a penguin.
Those parties were wild.
you got a penguin.
Yeah.
Full body outfit. Apart from, you know, the neck item? Like, you know how you could have like a head item, a face item, a neck item, a body item, and a flipper item, right?
Okay.
You've got an all outfit apart from the neck item. Your outfit looks fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
This is such a silly example. What the hell is my life? And then you put on like a scarf or like a necklace that you buy and it enhances the look and makes it look even better.
Yeah.
But then you take it off and the look still looks all right.
Yeah.
You can apply this to any ethos. That's just my very simplified version.
Of a relationship.
Your outfit still looks fucking awesome with or without this thing. That's how I view my life.
Amazing.
I'm like, you know what? Life is actually still fucking abundant.
It
I had everything
is.
going good for me before I met him and it will be good after.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I feel like in a way my life has gotten better actually since those relationships. And yes, they were the hardest lessons I've had to learn in my entire life. But I hope from learning those lessons, I will not make those mistakes again. And I'd rather make those mistakes now at 25 or at 21 than at 35.
Exactly. Because then you've wasted so much time being in the wrong connection. But
Yeah.
that's one thing I know earlier. I was like, oh, like looking forward to meeting someone new. You can have that belief and also simultaneously believe that life is not meant to be lived to be in a relationship.
Yeah, and
I'm just excited. Like, a Nando's
yeah.
delivery. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, but that's good. You always should be excited and I think, we put so much of our importance on relationships because at the end of the day, it's a universal thing that we all go through. Every single person on this planet goes through relationships, men, women, old, young, whatever, sexuality, orientation, everything, any religion, everyone goes through relationships, love, heartbreak, healing, all of it.
100%.
But I totally agree with you. Like, no one celebrates being on your own. We don't celebrate being on our own. We only celebrate when people have gotten together. Or like, oh, congratulations on getting a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, oh my God, congratulations on being on your own. People like, oh, or like, family members be like, oh, when are you gonna?
Christmas says, when are you bringing someone home? It's like, why am I not enough?
Yeah.
Like, do I need to bring someone home?
And you don't want to bring the wrong person home either.
Exactly.
I've done that many a
Me
times.
too.
And that's never ended up good. And my parents never liked it. I think we should just enjoy being alone, enjoy our solitude, raise our vibration, raise
100%.
our aura, fill the voids with our own love, which I know it sounds so cliche and if you're listening to this right now and you're just like, oh, so cringe. But it's like, that is the truth. The only way you're going to be in a healthy relationship or with actually the love of your life, in quotation marks, because you could have several loves of your life as well. That relationship starts with yourself. And if you treat yourself amazing, you're not going to take any shit from anyone else because you respect yourself so much that you're like, well, if he was late for the day, like, why should I wait around? Like,
100%.
no, I deserve better than that. And then you drop them instantly. You know instantly to drop that person. Whereas if you haven't worked on yourself and they are late and you're like, oh, it's fine.
No, he
I'll
didn't
just
mean to.
Yeah. But that's because you
lower
don't
your
value
self-standard.
yourself
Yeah.
enough that you think and expect that that's fine. So on that note, if you're single right now and you are waiting for this guy or girl to come along, stop waiting. Start living your life. Start living in the present
Start being
moment.
the love of your own life.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, we only have ourselves.
Exactly.
That's it.
We were born alone, we're gonna die alone. As much as that is sad, it
Sound
doesn't
depressing, but
it
like,
doesn't have to be
if you
sad.
look at it from a beautiful lens, put the rose tinted glasses on and look at that. That's actually a beautiful thing. You have you forever.
Yeah.
You start getting used to it.
Yeah, start getting used to like all the dark sides too and loving those sides. But yeah, thank you so much for
Thanks for
coming
having
on.
me. It was
Thank
really, really
you.
lovely.
And if you want to follow Dom on his socials, TikTok, Instagram, and the tarot page and acting, what is it?
The acting,
Was Dominic.Lawrence for Instagram.
Dominic Lawrence on Instagram, Dom Lawrence on TikTok. It's such a confusing thing.
And tarot.
Tarot is Dom behind the scenes.
Dom behind the scenes.
And also the podcast, if I can shout that out.
Yeah.
POV with Dom, POV with Dom on all platforms.
POV with Dom is also a pod. And what's it about?
The same sort of thing. I'm going to be talking about my experiences, my lessons, self-love, growth, development, and also including bits of Gen Z and pop culture in there to make it more digestible.
Perfect. I love to hear it. Well, if you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like and subscribe, follow, leave a review. If you really like this episode, please, I love reading your reviews. And every review really, really helps. And yeah, that's all. That's it. That's it.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye. See you next week.
Bye.
Maybe I won't.